Hello, everyone, and welcome to Teen Talk, a podcast for teens in Columbus, Nebraska. I'm your host, Jessica Wilkinson, and this month I will be taking you on a terrifying trip through some of Nebraska's most haunted places. This journey could haunt your dreams, so listeners, be warned. The first haunted place is Captain Meriwether Lewis Dredge in Brownville, Nebraska. The Meriwether Lewis Dredge has been turned into a museum which is widely believed to be haunted. One of the more notable occurrences is a piano which plays by itself when no one is around. The next location is Bailey House Museum in Brownville. The Bailey House Museum, named for the Civil War captain who once lived there, is said to be home to at least one ghost, Captain Bailey himself. Doors refuse to stay closed, thanks to his restless spirit. Peru State College in Eliza Morgan Residence Hall is our next location. This residence hall at Peru State College is reportedly home to the spirit of its namesake. According to the legend, the ill-fated Miss Morgan died in the building's basement and has been haunting residents ever since. Then we head over to Seven Sisters Road in Nebraska City. Swing down Seven Sisters Road, otherwise known as Road L, on your way to the next location. An enraged father is said to have hung his 7 daughters from trees on 7 hills along this road many years ago. According to some reports, driving down this road may cause your car to act strangely, or you may even hear the screaming of the sisters. Location 5 is Ball Cemetery in Springfield. Considered to be, by some, to be one of the most haunted locations in the area, Ball Cemetery has been home to numerous paranormal phenomena. Ghost figures wander the grounds, and visitors have seen floating orbs above the tombstones. Please note, this location has a no trespassing sign posted. Please respect the signs and experience this spooky spot from outside of the gate. The 6th location is Joslyn Castle in Omaha. Plenty of paranormal testing has been conducted at this castle, and investigators have classified it as haunted. Disembodied voices and footsteps can sometimes be heard in the large building. The 7th location is Fort Omaha Metropolitan Community College in Omaha. Although it is now a Metro Community College campus, Fort Omaha has a very long history as a military post. Sightings of ghostly figures have been reported in several of the buildings. The next location is Hummel Park in Omaha. Hummel Park is a favorite location for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. The park gives off a very creepy feeling and is said to be home to many restless spirits. The grounds have reportedly also been used for satanic rituals and sacrifices. Location number 9 is Dana College in Argyle Hall, Blair. This college campus, like many other college campuses, was reported to be home to restless wandering spirits. Dana College has been closed for quite some time, but when Argyle Hall was occupied, residents reported electronic devices turning off and on, and doors opening on their own. Location 10 is Barnard Park in Fremont. This park in the middle of Fremont was once a cemetery. Stories say that the cemetery was relocated, but not all of the bodies were removed. The restless spirits of those left behind now wander the grounds. Location 11 is Brother Sebastian's Steakhouse in Omaha. Top off your day of ghost hunting with a meal at this haunted steakhouse. A regular customer who passed away years ago is said to still visit the restaurant in the form of a ghost. The spirit relights candles after they are blown out and opens closed doors. Even if you don't have a supernatural experience here, you can still end your busy day with a delicious meal. Argo Hotel in Crofton is our 12th location. The Argo Hotel is picturesque. Crofton has a long and complex history. It began its life as a hotel, but was later turned into a medical clinic. After the clinic closed, the Argo sat shuttered until 1994, when the building was purchased and restored to its former glory as a hotel. During the renovations, a burlap sack containing the skeleton of an infant was found hidden in the wall. The best-known spirit wandering the Argo today is Alice, believed to be the mother of the infant whose bones were found in the wall. Patients of the former medical clinic also seem to haunt the hotel. They aren't violent or even very scary. They are just there. Number 13 is a little closer to home, Norfolk Regional Center in Norfolk, Nebraska. Before the rather tame moniker it now sports, this facility was known as the Norfolk Insane Asylum. It opened its doors in 1818, and doctors began treating those who were deemed insane by the courts. After the facility changed names and focus several times, it became the Norfolk Regional Center in 1962. Now, part of the campus is used to house and rehabilitate sex offenders. Some of the buildings are vacant, and there is a system of underground tunnels connecting the buildings. There is a cemetery on site where former patients are buried, most without markers of any kind. One of the buildings was once used as low-cost student housing, and residents frequently reported unexplained noises, apparitions, and voices apparently belonging to former patients. This property has no trespassing signs posted, so please heed the signs and do not wander onto the property for a closer look. The next few locations are around Columbus. Our 14th destination is Platte County Historical Museum in Columbus, Nebraska. This century-old building houses artifacts and memorabilia from Nebraska's history, and spirits are said to walk the halls. A paranormal investigation team checked out the building in 2012. It had some strange experiences. An unexplained shadow, electromagnetic field distributions, and recorded voices were all observed by the investigators. Location 15 is St. Patrick's Cemetery, aka the Glowing Graveyard, at Shell Creek, near Columbus. If you can time your road trip to arrive here after dark on a night with a full moon, we highly recommend it. That's when the gravestones are all said to glow brightly with an otherworldly light. Even at other times, though the cemetery is thought by some to be haunted. Whether you see any ghosts or not, this is a really beautiful cemetery to visit. The wooden bridge nearby is said to have been the site of a bus accident in which several children died. Local legend has it that if you stop your car on the bridge, it won't start up again. But if you cover your car in powder before coasting over the bridge with the car in neutral, you'll find small handprints all over it when you reach the other side. Our last Columbus location is Scotus Central Catholic High School. This is the third haunted location in Columbus, leading us to believe that this town has an especially high concentration of spirits. Or perhaps the people who live there are just more sensitive to paranormal activity than others. This school is said to be haunted by a nun and former students. Given the school's very long history, it isn't hard to believe that there may be some residual energy of those who once walked the halls. Location 17 takes us to Grand Theater in Grand Island. This beautiful theater was built in 1911 and has undergone many changes in the century since. Although no one is sure of the sources of the hauntings, volunteers and patrons have reported sightings of a janitor figure. Other incidents include unexplained sounds and voices and the feeling of a ghostly hand on one's shoulder. Location 18 is Hastings Regional Center in Hastings. Like Norfolk Regional Center, Hastings Regional Center has a long history of treating mentally ill patients. This facility also has a cemetery on site where patients are buried, many without grave markers. The spirits of the cemetery are said to be the source of many unexplained haunted phenomena in and around the buildings. The 19th location is the Speakeasy in Sacramento near Holdrege, Nebraska. After all the ghost hunting, you're bound to be a little hungry, so stop in at the Speakeasy for some of the best food in the area. Oh, and did we mention the steakhouse has its very own ghosts? Faceless Fred bangs pots and pans together, shuts the freezer door while employees are inside, and generally makes his presence known. If you're a paranormal enthusiast, steak with a side of a haunting probably sounds pretty appetizing. The 20th location on our list is North Platte Community Playhouse, the Old Fox Theater in North Platte. The North Platte Community Playhouse, also known as the Neville Center for the Performing Arts, houses spirits that make themselves known to employees when no one is around. Although many occurrences have been reported, people who have experienced them have all described the spirits as benevolent, or at least not evil. Location 21 is Arrow Hotel in Broken Bow. Apparitions are said to wander harmlessly. Staff and guests have reported furniture moving on its own, mysterious voices, and apparitions walking around late at night. Our 22nd location is Mansion on the Hill in Ogallala. This gorgeous red brick Victorian home was built by L.A. Brandhofer. Construction was completed in 1887. It was, and still is, a feat of masterful architecture with many delightful details throughout. It is now owned by the Keith County Historical Society and operates as a museum between Memorial Day and Labor Day. No specific ghosts have been identified as haunting the residents, but staff and visitors have reported uneasy feelings, unexplained floating lights, and even the ghostly apparition of a man in the house. Our 23rd location takes us to Boot Hill Cemetery in Sidney, Nebraska. The next stop on our tour is Sidney's Boot Hill. This was known in the Old West as the Bad Man's Cemetery, and its history is just as fascinating as you might imagine. Sidney was at one time one of the most sinful cities in the West. It was host to gunfights, lynchings, brothels, murders, and even the Irish Mafia. No one knows for sure how many bodies were buried at Boot Hill between 1868 and 1894. But we do know that in 1922, the cemetery was in such bad shape that the Army mandated the removal of 211 soldiers and Indian Scouts' bodies from the property. Hundreds of other bodies were left behind, and graves were even discovered beneath the modern street and across the street from the cemetery. Some estimates say there are around 700 remaining graves. Tales of hauntings here are varied and plentiful. The Boot Hill Committee even operates a Halloween tour of the grounds every year. They don't claim to have inside knowledge about whether or not the cemetery is haunted, but they encourage visitors to draw their own conclusions. Stop 24 is Fort Sidney Commander's Quarters in Sidney, Nebraska. The former post commander's home at Fort Sidney is said to have the ghost of an officer's young wife. The story goes that the wife fell down the stairs while carrying a load of laundry and broke her neck in 1885. Her grief-stricken husband had the stairs boarded up, but visitors heard the sounds of someone walking and then tumbling down a flight of stairs. The stairway was uncovered in 1975, though access is closed off to museum visitors, and according to visitors, the young woman's ghost can still be heard today. Stop 25 is Alliance Theater in Alliance, Nebraska. Built in 1903, the Alliance Theater was originally the Charter Hotel. It was turned into a theater in 1938. It isn't clear when the hauntings began, but employees say that they see shadowy figures and hear running footsteps in the hallways. The owner is confident that if the theater really is haunted, it's by a friendly ghost. Stop 26 is Fort Robinson in Crawford, Nebraska. Fort Robinson was established in the 1870s and was an important spot in the Sioux Wars that took place between 1876 and 1890. It was here that Crazy Horse was killed in 1877. Though his is not one of the ghosts said to roam the area. Visitors have reported seeing the specters of soldiers and Native Americans, and some have heard the hoofbeats of phantom horses at night. Even if you don't find evidence of hauntings, this is one of Nebraska's top historical sites and is well worth a visit. Battle of Warbonnet Creek site is location 27. The Battle of Warbonnet Creek occurred on July 17, 1876. It was a small battle between 350 Army troopers and 6 Cheyenne warriors. The only notable engagement of the battle was a duel between Buffalo Bill Cody and a warrior named Yellow Hair. Cody shot and then scalped Yellow Hair. This would be the only casualty of the battle. Many people have reported seeing a strange green glow around the battlefield marker and hearing voices speaking in Cheyenne around the site. Our final destination is Old Main Street Inn in Chadron, Nebraska. This is a delightfully quirky Victorian-style inn. Formerly called the Chadron House, this lovely hotel was built in the late 1800s and, about a century later, once served as General Nelson Miles' headquarters during the Wounded Knee incident. Oddly enough, the spirits said to haunt this hotel are not those involved in Wounded Knee. Rather, they are 2 friendly ghosts called Anna and Jack. Guests report hearing footsteps when no one is there, and one couple said that a glass of water on their bedside table was mysteriously moved to the other side of the room during the night. Even the hotel's owner has reported a strange incident or two that appeared to be the work of a harmless spirit. Now that you've heard about the 28 stops on the ultimate terrifying Nebraska road trip, will you take the journey? As always, thank you for listening. And I will see you all next month. If you want to be a part of this Teen Talk podcast, please reach out to me either by email at jessica.wilkinson@columbusne.us or by phone at 402-562-4203. Thank you.